Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. I'm Marco D'Angelo, joined in studio today. Special guest, we've got Chris Andrews. He's the sportsbook director at the South Point Hotel and Casino. And Chris, I was going to introduce you the way our buddy Gil does and call you Chrissy, but I got to tell you, every time I hear him say, and we got next our guest, Chrissy Andrews, I'm expecting a hot blonde female talking sports. And I got to tell you, buddy, whenever the camera goes, you're anything but a hot blonde talking sports. I love you, man, but
I'm actually going to take that as a compliment. And he is a hot blonde. There's a lot of changes that we're not going to go through for that. So.
I always laugh whenever he does that.
By the way, I'm skipping Gil's show to do this, and he told me, he's a little upset at you.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. All right, well, at least you're sporting the Penguins gear. We're filming here Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals, and for those that don't know, Chris and I are both fellow Pittsburghers from back in the day, so we will be glued in front of a TV tonight.
Yes, glued is the word, because the last couple of games you couldn't blink for anything.
Absolutely. Well, the reason we got you in here is we want to give you guys kudos at South Point. You guys, you opened the college football lines, the games of the year. You also have week 1 college football up. But the college football games of the year, this is what everybody gets the buzz about because, you're the first one to put a number out. And, in an industry that's become very easy just to sit back and wait, copy and paste, you guys are taking a stand, and you opened them up, on Monday, Memorial Day?
We opened them up on Memorial Day, correct, yeah.
And how was the turnout for the openers?
It was good. I wouldn't call it great because we really didn't put out what games we'd actually be using, so people were guessing, and I think I made a mistake. I think next year I'm going to publish those so people know, handicappers know which games that we'll be using. They had a pretty good idea. I was going to use teams like Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, et cetera, but I'm not sure that they really knew what games we were going to put up. And but the action's been pretty steady since then.
Good. And explain to the viewers what you guys do, because although you are the first, you do put a limitation on it so that, limit exposure. So how is the setup for the openers?
Well, we take a dime, $1,000, and I think that's a reasonable bet. It's not a huge bet or anything like that. And when guys get in line, we give them 3 bets. Then you have to go to the back of the line. You can come back up as many times, and after about that first hour, a couple guys were just at the window for 5 bets, 6 bets, whatever. There's nobody else to compete with. Yeah. But we don't want to just give one guy who happens to be first in line the shot at every single number. So
which is fair.
I think it's fair. We try to be fair to all our players.
Now, a guy, if he bets, and I know we'll talk about in another video some of the games that got the action, but if a guy wants to hit a number that he thinks you're way off on, he can bet the 1,000. He can get out of line, come back in and bet the same game again. Of course, you guys are adjusting the line so he can keep betting it after each adjustment until one of you blinks and says enough. But we give you credit, but I'll also tell you, you guys are pretty smart in doing this too, because this is a way to get a view from some of the sharper people. Because let's face it, when you put up games of the year at the end of May, for games that are going to be played all college football season, it's not your average guys that's walking up to the window and making bets. These are guys that you respect on the other side of the counter.
There's no question about it, Marco. And one of the things that we're very proud of, myself, Michael Gaughan, who's the owner of the South Point, Jimmy Vaccaro, who I've worked with for many, many years, we've never chased out the wise guys, never cut somebody off for things, for being too smart. We want to take their smarts and use them for ourselves. And it's good for them. They get their bet. It's good for us. We get to adjust our numbers. We might be in the middle of October, and I might say, that one guy, he bet Michigan against Penn State, and that might lay in my brain, and I'll use that knowledge. And really, there's a lot of information out there. One guy cannot know everything. It's just impossible. So we just try to glean as much as we can from bettors that we do respect. And you're right. I think we had a couple of guys bet $22, and I'm thinking, man, do you know? You can't cash this bet for a while.
Exactly.
But almost every bet was a limit bet.
And I did notice that you guys, you you didn't come out with the full schedule. You had limited games, but you had a good. How many games did
66.
66 games to open up a Mario Lemieux's number. Any coincidence there?
No, but I should have said yes. You should have fed me that one earlier. I would have said in honor of Mario. We did. No, we went through, and when we put we actually have 99 that we will have eventually. I didn't want to use any team more than 3 times in case I was way off on a rating. So we'll let these settle in. We have our season win totals coming up at the end of the week. And about another week or 10 days after that, I'm going to put up the other 33 games. So we'll have 99. Well, then Wayne Gretzky.
There you go. We don't want to talk about him.
No. But we'll have 99 games of the year. Total.
Very good.
That's all our computer can handle.
The last thing before we wrap up the first video up, some exciting things happening over at South Point. You guys have a show, VEASAN, it comes out of there. And if anybody's been into the South Point, or if you haven't and you're coming through town, stop by and check it out. I mean, the studio right in the middle, right off the sportsbook there, state of the art. I was fortunate enough, our buddy Gil invited me in to come talk some horses a couple times.
We were fortunate enough for you to give us a couple of winners, or a big winner that day. Anyway.
The Kentucky Derby was pretty good. I'll admit that. We got nosed out in the Preakness, but state of the art. Tell them what they can look forward to with VEASAN.
Well, VEASAN has really been tremendously successful so far, way beyond our wildest imagination. We have 3 regular shows that go on every day. And then obviously we have some substitutes for the weekends. People take some time off. I'm usually on with Gil every day, our old friend. I go on with Brent Musburger a lot. And I remember the first time I did a show with Brent, I called my wife. I said, I did a show with Brent Musburger. I don't know how many guys have done that, but whatever it is, add one more to the list, because I've done that. And we have a lot of fun, but we also try to have a lot of information. And the other show that's on every day is Mitch and Paulie, who are longtime Vegas guys. And like I said, we try to keep it as light as we can, but we want to make it entertaining, obviously, but we want to give out as much information and help bettors out there. And guys ask me, why are you doing that? And I said, you know what, we want to grow the business. Right. You know, the information's going to get out. I'm not going to have something that no one else is ever going to know, but we want to grow the business. And
volume is what you want.
Well, and just look at the numbers in Nevada the last couple of years. The volume is growing, and I think we're part of that.
Kudos to the network. I mean, it's the first network dedicated solely to, sports wagering and, talk about it. So like that. And you guys are going to be expanding more shows come football season is Scuttlebutt? Right now,
the plan is we're on 6 hours a day now. We want to get on 12 hours of live programming by football season. So, So we're kind of hustling right now. There's a lot of stuff going on.
It'll be exciting for football season. Looking forward to it. And of course, appreciate you coming in and that's the nice thing about, you and Jimmy, guys can walk into the sports book and say, stop by and say hi. And, I see all the time on Twitter, because, obviously I follow you, you follow me, and I see guys saying, oh, I got to meet Chris Andrews, and, it's such a thrill. And, it is. It's not, you guys, even though you're the other side of the counter, you're not the enemy. And that's why, we
and
love
we don't consider the players the enemy. Like I said, we're trying to take their knowledge and maybe steal a little bit of that for ourselves.
All right, well, we're going to go in the next video. We're going to have some more information about some of these specific games and where the action came from. And guys, hey, don't forget at WagerTalk, if you want to go on Fridays, try out any pick at WagerTalk on Fridays. It's Flashback Friday. We sell the picks for just $7 over at WagerTalk.com. Check it out each and every Friday. We'll be back with more here at WagerTalk.